God damn it, that's not news! What about us?
Look, Stephen, Terrence and I were talking. Well, it's starting to look like maybe we're not gonna win this thing, you know?
We'll win! We just have to stay resilient!
Well, yeah, but everyone is dying of starvation.
Yeah, let's give it up, guy.
Don't call me your guy! I am not your guy, friend!
I'm not your friend, buddy!
I'm not your buddy,
Things that worries me about Canada at the moment. You know, I know when we talked a couple of weeks ago, I expressed my concern about what was happening in Canada.
Doesn't look good.
Well, I read Carney's book, Values. I read it twice, and I
Coming up, guys, we've got Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson crushing Mark Carney. We'll take a peek at that.
Elbows up.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It is really hard to put lipstick on a pig.
Cut it out. Get out of here.
Right, boss.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, gang, what's up? Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. Getting pretty nervous about this election. Like, I believe the Conservatives are going to win a big majority, but my confidence is being somewhat shaken by these crazy polls and the nasty Liberal tactics. Anyways, let's look at some of our favorite Conservative MPs as they head into the finish line of this campaign of carnage, this phony election against a fake prime minister who's never been elected, who has bad intentions for our country. Let's take a look. We've got Michelle Rempel Garner in this one. We've got Michelle Ferreri. We'll look at Michael Barrett. There's a bunch. Let's take a peek. Let's get into Michelle Rempel Garner to kick it off. Let's go.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
I've been out with my volunteer teams for weeks now, but especially this weekend, getting people out to vote and vote Conservatives. And I just want to share a quick story that I heard with you, that I heard on the doors today. It's really stuck with me all day, and it's kind of motivated me to keep going, to keep pushing through. And I know it motivated a lot of my volunteers too. There's this one door we had where the person that knocked on the door said, you guys, you have to form government. I'm not better off after 10 years of the Liberal government, and I can't imagine what would happen with 4 more years of the Liberal government, with even more deficits. And the way that they put it was that, you know, there is a promise in Canada, right? That if you work hard, you can afford a nice home in a safe neighborhood. And for a lot of people, that the Liberals have broken that promise. And that uncertainty of being able to afford life or get to work safely on public transit, but more importantly, well, equally as important, it's that hope of being of upward social mobility that has become, it's become lost for a lot of people in this country, right? In fact, a lot of people's lives have gotten worse because of the affordability crisis. And, you know, that is the theme I keep hearing on my doors here in Calgary Nose Hill, across the riding, is that we need a positive Conservative government, the positive plan to restore affordability, to make our streets safer. You can read all about it on conservative.ca if you haven't seen it. But we need that change in government in order to restore that promise. And that's what we're out here doing. We're asking people to go out and vote on Monday. And my ask to you tonight is this. Share this video, particularly with somebody who you know feels the same way, and ask them to go out and vote Conservative. We're going to be dawn till dusk. Our teams are out getting people out to vote over the weekend. We're working so hard. You can hear I've basically lost my voice. But please share this video. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. This is the most critical election that we've had in a long time in this country. Nobody in our country can afford 4 more years of the Liberals. So please share this video, and just know that there's teams of volunteers across this country that are working hard to get this message out in every part of the country. I'm feeling optimistic because I know that the plan that we're offering as Conservatives, it's such a contrast to the Liberals, right? So share this video. We're going to keep working hard. I'll be sure that I come to you from my riding as we get out the vote over the next 48 hours. But folks, we need a change in government. We need a Conservative government. Let's get out the vote on Monday. Working hard for you in Calgary Nose Hill. Have a great day.
All right, gang, smash the like, hit subscribe, all those fun things. Like, leave a comment. Love the comments. Make sure that you vote, though, because if you don't take control of your own situation, we've got to vote our way out of this. There's no doubt. Let's take a look at Michelle Ferreri, one of our favorite MPs to watch on here. She's a firecracker indeed.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Ferreri, and for the last 4 years I've had the privilege to represent you in Ottawa as your Member of Parliament and to fight for you. When you wrote to me and told me that you could barely afford groceries, I spoke up for you. Hi Michelle, I'm a single mom of 19. I'm a single mom of a 19-year-old in college and a 15-year-old in high school with no child support. I'm paying almost $1,600 rent plus approximately $1,000 for utilities. I work in healthcare and basically live check to check. I only buy groceries that are on sale or in the reduced bin. Thankfully, I was gifted with a large freezer and buy fresh items on sale and am able to freeze. I make a decent wage. I do not know how others do it, making less than I do. Something needs to be done. When you wrote to me and told me you didn't feel safe in your own community, I spoke up for you. I don't want to come here and fight. But it is certainly my job, and it is all of our jobs, to do the job we were elected to do. And the reality is, these stats are not okay. Human trafficking is up 84%. Sexual assaults, people can't even go downtown in their homes, in their hometowns, their small communities. Nobody feels safe. We are the status of women. If we're gonna do this, fine, let's have a healthy discussion. But don't say that it's nonpartisan, because policy is what led us here in the first place. It is the policy that is letting people out on bail, these repeat violent offenders. That's the reality after 9 years. That's what's happening. So I don't think there's room for collegiality when people are dying. And let's have an honest conversation. The reality is, and this is really the deciding vote for so many people out there, what has gotten better in the last 10 years of a Liberal government? Tell me one thing. Crime is up 50%. Food bank usage is the highest in history. The most vulnerable are being squeezed out. Social programs can't keep up. The people who help people can't help people because they're not okay. And it's not okay. But I also hear you when I stand on your door and you say, I don't know what to believe anymore, Michelle. I don't know who to trust. And you have good reason not to believe or trust anyone, because trust is built on doing the things you say you're going to do. And for the last 10 years, the Liberals and the NDP told you they would make life better. They told you there would be sunny ways.
Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
And everything has been a lie. Name me one thing that has gotten better. There isn't. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It is going to take a long time to restore the trust that has been eroded in this country and divided our country. The Liberals have pitted people against people. That is not the Conservative way. We are all one. Your vote matters. Every single vote matters. This is the most consequential election of our time. If you want change, you have to show up. We can't keep going in the same direction. We have to change. We should never have been put in this position of weakness and vulnerability. We truly have everything the world needs and wants, and the Liberals have left it in the ground because of ideology.
How do you reconcile keeping Bill C-69 with your plans to build infrastructure in Canada? Do you plan to repeal Bill C-69?
We do not plan to repeal Bill C-69, to answer your question directly.
The Conservatives are fighting for you. We will restore hope. We have to. We have to. And for everybody who's fine or comfortable or retired or has that pension, I am so glad that you have that because you earned it. But now it is time to step up and make sure that the next generation and the generation after has the same opportunity you did. They should be able to afford a home. Their work should pay for them. They shouldn't have their paycheck evaporated in taxes. We have policy around all of this. Cut income tax by 15%. Invest in new homes. Manage immigration. We have 60,000 doctors and nurses ready to practice to meet the demand of the 6 million people who don't have access to healthcare in this country. Conservatives will implement a Blue Seal program. We will invest in treatment, not more drugs. You know, the Liberals have spent so much money and you have gotten no results. In fact, you've gotten worse results. Canadians have no problem helping. It's who we are at our core. We will give money, we will support, we will donate, we will do what we need to do if we get something in return. But we've gotten nothing in return. Our country has went backward. It is time for a change, and the only way to get that change is to vote for a new government. Mark Carney has the exact same ministers who put us in this position. He is the man who advised Justin Trudeau on our economy. He is the man that drove us into a $60 billion deficit. This is insanity. You cannot keep doing the same thing and expect something different. Vote for a change. Vote Conservative on April 28th.
Right here, we're going to look at Larry Brock discussing guns. It's an issue, guys. Everything's an issue on this election. Get out there and vote, guys. Larry Brock, one of our favorites. He's the kingpin.
I made the same remarks not too long ago that according to the Liberal government, you are the problem. All of you are the problem because they speak to a very small but powerful and
he's going to be next Attorney General of Canada.
Significant base in downtown Toronto, downtown Montreal, downtown Lower Mainland BC, who feel that no one, under any circumstances, unless you're military, unless you're police, ought to own a firearm. Well, we know that's crap. We know that we've got a problem with criminality. We have seen a sharp increase in crimes every single year since Justin Trudeau introduced his hug a thug mentality when it came to policy. So you are not the problem. You've never been the problem. You've taken the courses. You're licensed. You're responsible. You are not creating the crime, chaos, and disorder that communities are facing from coast to coast to coast. We all know what the problem is, right? It's the smuggling of illegal handguns. And I think I told you this as an example. When you go to decide to rob a mom and pop variety store, you don't bring in a long shotgun and say, oh, by the way, I'm robbing you. All right? You want to conceal something small in your pocket. And that is the problem. And has been the problem for the last 10 years. And this damn government hasn't done anything to address it. We haven't reinforced our borders. We have not bought the necessary technology. The sad reality is, it's not just the smuggling across the borders, because criminals are very savvy. They're generally 1 or 2 steps ahead of law enforcement. They're using drones now. They're using Canada Post. They're using courier companies to smuggle drugs and to smuggle guns and ammunition across our borders. And if that's not bad enough, we've got Mexican cartels now who have viewed Canada as a safe haven to do business. So they're loading up shipping containers and shipping that up to the West Coast, landing at the Port of Vancouver, which I toured about 3-4 weeks ago. Sadly, busiest port in one of the busiest ports in North America, but sadly, 1% of all containers are inspected. 1%. So that's how you're getting your drugs, that's how you're getting your guns, that's how you're getting your other contraband, particularly from China and now Mexico, flowing into our country. Okay? So we all know what the problem is, but what's the solution? Okay? The Liberals, under our so-called freshly minted Prime Minister, who prouds around as if he's a duly elected Prime Minister by the Canadian people. We all know that's crap. 100,000 people, Liberals, chose that leader to be our Prime Minister. Prime Minister in name only. Prime Minister not through leadership. But he made an announcement yesterday with respect to crime. Because crime is a big passion of mine in terms of my background as a Crown attorney. It's a real passion of our Conservative Party. And you know what he said? We need to enhance the gun buyback program. Pump in another $600 million to a useless program that confiscates antique firearms, other firearms that are not used in the commission of criminal offenses, and the biggest drain on the Canadian taxpayer that ever was.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, Mike Barrett, one of our favorite Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes. Give it to him. Mike Barrett is a Badger. What is he going to be the minister of?
Conservatives have said for weeks that Mark Carney is just like Justin Trudeau. Now, I can be the bigger person. I can admit when I'm wrong. Mark Carney isn't just like Justin Trudeau. He's worse. Much worse. Today, Mark Carney revealed his election platform. It promised even more inflationary government spending and higher government deficits. Now, don't take my word for it. Here's what one economist, normally a friend to Mark Carney, called this liberal platform. Quote, spendorama, with even larger deficits than Freeland's that just go on forever. I was hoping Carney would pull the Liberals back to the center with a focus on fiscal discipline. It is not to be, end quote. The National Post said, quote, Liberals promise $130 billion in new spending and no timeline to balance the budget, end quote. CTV said, quote, Carney platform promises $130 billion in new spending, deficits until 2029, end quote. And even from the government-funded CBC, quote, Liberal platform promises $130 billion in new spending over 4 years, adding $225 billion to federal debt, end quote. And here's an interesting one from Bloomberg, quote, overall, the platform shows Canada's fiscal position worsening if the Liberals are re-elected on April 28th, end quote. But this is the most important thing. Carney's sky-high inflationary spending means higher taxes, raising the cost of everything from groceries to housing to gas to clothing. You can't afford a fourth Liberal term. Only a new Conservative government will get government spending under control by passing a dollar-for-dollar law, requiring the government to find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending. We will axe taxes, build homes, cut red tape, and unleash our resources. Vote for change. Vote Conservative.
We're going to take a peek at Jordan Peterson on the Joe Rogan Experience. Check out that channel. It's amazing. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair if it weren't for Joe Rogan, a big inspiration. A huge fan of Jordan Peterson as well. Let's take a look and a listen. Let's review what they had to say because Jordan Peterson has a lot to say here. Watch this.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
One of the things that worries me about Canada at the moment, I know when we talked a couple of weeks ago, I expressed my concern about what was happening in Canada.
Doesn't look good.
Well, I read Carney's book, Values. I read it twice, and I understood it. And Carney says in that book, he says he's an advocate of centralized planning, ESG. He was a huge ESG advocate. He organized many large corporations to go down this central planning governance route because the market wasn't pricing everything properly, and so central planners had to step in, and BlackRock and Vanguard and places like that were big parts of that. Don't know if they were directly affected by Carney, but it's the same thing, and they've stepped away from that, and he's a big DEI advocate. And he's also a net zero advocate. And Carney says in his book, this is a good example of this, and I think also a good example of this kind of narcissism that we talked about earlier. Every single financial decision that every individual or organization makes has to prioritize decarbonization above all else. Or else. And there will be many, he doesn't say casualties, but he implies that. There'll be many who pay a price along the way, but it's necessary, because you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And then he says 75% of the world's fossil fuels have to stay in the ground. And this is who Canadians are seriously thinking about electing, right?
Why does he say the fossil fuels have to stay in the ground?
Too much carbon.
The real problem with that is the same problem with the COVID narrative. is that they don't allow any dissent. They don't allow any data that conflicts with the narrative. And they don't want to look at any possible, like, both of them are complicated. They're not similar in a lot, but there are, because they're top-down tyrannical tools.
Using fear and compulsion.
Yeah. So they did, during the COVID times, nobody wanted to look at any alternative treatments. They didn't want to look at health, metabolic health. They didn't want to look at any factors other than vaccination and compliance.
So there we go, gang. Those are some of our favorites to watch. Love Joe Rogan, love Jordan Peterson, Michelle and Michelle, Michael Barrett, Larry Brock. They're fun. Remember to get out there and vote. Make your position known to other people or whatever. Just make sure you vote. Like, this is our chance, guys, to change it up. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney. Like, share, subscribe, get notified. We will be covering the live question periods coming up. Should be a very interesting session of Parliament. Indeed. That's it. Come and check out one of the live shows. We've got an amazing chat room. I'm Aaron, Canadian Looney. Come and hang out with the great gang that we have. Canadian Patriots right here. Remember to vote, kids. Catch the next video. Oh my goodness, I'm nervous about Monday. Let's see what happens. Let's go. Catch you later, gang.
Welcome to the Great White North, aka Canadian Corner.
How's it going, eh?
Bob McKenzie, this is my brother Doug. Today our topic is dog scoops.
Hello there, my noble, strong fellow Canadian. If you are watching this film strip, then no doubt Canada is in grave danger.
WTF.
Here, here.